It's the Rich Herrera Show on a Thursday here in Tucson. Hello again, everybody, and thanks so much for being a part of the program. My name is Rich Herrera, Dragon Ball along the other side of the glass. We're streaming on Facebook and YouTube and on our website, wildcatsradio1290.com. So if you want to see our lovely faces, you could do that. If not, sit back, relax. We got a pretty good show planned for you today. Dragon Ball, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rich.
Very, very, very professional, precise, and well executed today. So we're off to a perfect show.
Again, we're just trying to go ahead and figure out exactly how it sounds right now because, again, we just moved the mic over. It used to be on my left-hand side.
So you've got new equipment.
A little bit. We're finally using the new mic stand. You've had that one installed for a while now.
If you're watching online, you can actually see Dragon Ball's face now because he's not stuck behind the microphone.
Right, yeah. And
that actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a clearer sound right now. It's mostly just because it's sitting so much lower to the board now.
Yeah, nobody cares. They can now see your face.
Right.
Which I'm not sure if that's going to help or that's going to hurt us when it comes to people watching us on YouTube.
Probably a little column A, little column B.
A lot of column B. A lot of column B. You can watch us if you go to YouTube at Wildcats 1290, at Wildcats 1290 on YouTube and Facebook Live. All right. I know you've been chomping at the bit to hear my reaction to the beatdown that I saw last night. I mean, a beatdown for the Dubs that were buried by 55 points at one part of the ball game, ran off the floor by 39, and Memphis just stood there and said, "Whoop that trick, whoop that trick." How old and out of touch do I sound? Going, "Whoop that trick, whoop that trick."
I mean, no more older.
Whoop that trick, whoop that trick.
Yeah, no more older than the parents and the adults. I remember trying to do the Soldier Boy back when I was in high school. That was a little awkward.
Whoop that trick. Hey, you know what happened? The Warriors got a big can of whoop ass opened on them last night against the Memphis Grizzlies. It was an ugly ball game. So go ahead, Dragon Ball. Go ahead, fans. I am such a front runner for the Golden State Warriors. Now, again, there is that Arizona connection between Tucson and the Golden State Warriors. But last night, without Steve Kerr, they just got worked and ran off the floor and embarrassed last night. It was ugly. Wait, what are you doing?
Fat fingered that.
What are you doing? I'm here pouring my soul out to Tucson on how awful I feel. I told everybody I worked last night on the Amy Lawrence show. I'll be back on tonight at 11 o'clock on the network. I told everybody, listen, I'm in a foul mood. I'm a little upset. I'm a little embarrassed because last night Memphis did whoop that trick. I even got higher a little bit. Whoop that trick, which I had to look it up. Oh, you do it.
Whoop that trick.
No, that's no. It's a song.
Well, I know it's a song. I don't listen to music.
I don't listen to melodies and harmonies coming out of the radio. It's whoop that trick. You try it.
Whoop that trick.
You have to have a beat to it. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. It's a chant. Try it.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
Whoop that trick. No, now your turn.
Oh, whoop that trick.
Okay, you know the best part of this radio show today, folks? I don't feel so old because I actually could do whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. You are 20 years younger than me, and you sound 50 years older than me doing that. Let's whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Yep. I have no idea what this means, but the kids are saying it. Whoop that trick.
I have been.
There used to be. I worked at a station once where they had the guy, the morning show guy, repeating rap lyrics. I might steal that bit and just have you try to rap.
I don't want to push rap back 50 years.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. And then Dragon Ball. Whoop the youngsters want to whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. That's what that's what all the kids are saying these days.
A whoop that trick.
Dude, could you sound any more old manish right now?
I could probably try, but I don't know if you want to.
The youngsters are whooping that trick. Whoop, 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 whooping that trick.
Whoop that trick.
So anyway, last night, the Warriors just get demolished at the hands of the Memphis Grizzlies. Even without John Morant, they looked awful last night. In fact, here's Steph Curry after the ball game.
Disappointing part about that performance.
Everything. They obviously came out with a sense of urgency and our game plan in terms of how we know we could beat this team. And things we focus on, we did everything wrong. Turnovers, offensive rebounds, fouls. And on the road, when you give a team that's playing with desperation life like that, you don't think you lose about 40, but it's you can lose control of the game really quickly. That last 3 minutes of the first quarter, and they went on a 9-0 run, got the crowd into it, they got life, and they ran away with it from there. So understand this series is kind of interesting. It's with Ja out there's a certain game plan that you have to approach a game with. When he's out, they're obviously a very complete team that had an amazing record in the regular season. And you have to respect that and understand that it's a different approach. We felt that tonight, and now we got to do something about it on Friday.
Klay Thompson followed up with, you know what, this is just bad all the way around. There was nothing good about this trip to Memphis.
Oh, it was awful. It was embarrassing. From the opening tip, I mean, we didn't have great flow, and, they were more aggressive than us, reflecting in the 30 free throws into our 13. We all had the mindset we were going to close it out tonight, but sometimes basketball is an exact science, and we play like a shell of ourselves. So, like I said before, we'll watch film, make necessary adjustments, and you'll see a totally different effort on Friday.
Friday, they returned back to San Francisco. Again, Steve Kerr didn't make the trip, and I think it's pretty apparent how much the Golden State Warriors need the Arizona legend Steve Kerr to help lead them if they're going to make it to the Western Conference Finals. The other game that we saw last night was, and I have to apologize. I did this last night on the network. I'll do this right here on the show here in Arizona. Shame on me and everybody else for not understanding the greatness of Giannis Antetokounmpo. I haven't talked about him at all. I haven't given them much thought. I've been talking about the Heat. I've been talking about the 76ers. I haven't thought about Tatum and the Celtics. I've been so preoccupied with watching what's going on with the Dubs and the Suns. These are the defending champions last night, and they went out and showed what champions can do, showed what champions can do at the end of the ball game. They were amazing. They were absolutely amazing. Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks stole a game last night. And for my money, I said this last night on the network, they are the most underappreciated team in the National Basketball Association. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the most underappreciated superstar the league has ever seen. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the man. The Bucks are the defending champions, and we talk about them like they're the Clippers, Dragon Ball. We talk about them like they're the Clippers. We don't give them any respect. Well, they went out and earned respect last night, taking it to the Celtics. When the Celtics had a chance to put them out of their misery, Antetokounmpo said, nope, knocks down a tray. Holiday knocks down a tray. They played amazing basketball yesterday.
And a lot of it has to do with Giannis's trust in his teammates, and he said so after the game with the sound that we have here.
Do you have a piece of Giannis Antetokounmpo sound? Did you just find me something new?
I got you.
All right,
something
give me some Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Big time for both of them. Big time plays.
Wait, but did he steal my big-time players make big-time plays? I like it.
They've done it before. We've been a lot of times in situations like this that we've won games, lose games, but, with those guys having the ball down the stretch, you're not scared for nothing. Obviously they're going to make good decisions. They're going to take good shots, and they're going to make a lot of shots. So, as a team, we've seen them how they execute down the stretch, and we feel very, very comfortable when Drew has the ball and Bobby has the ball, or Grayson has the ball, down the stretch, because they've made big time plays. I remember Grayson 4 or 5 months ago in here that he sent the game in overtime. They've made big time plays down the stretch. Bobby again and again, Drew defensively, offensively, again and again. So you feel very comfortable when they have the ball down the stretch, and they're gonna make most of the time they're gonna make the right decision.
And that sets up what we'll see tonight, which is the Suns trying to advance to the Western Conference Finals, which, again, Dragon Ball and I have a bet, don't we?
Yes, we do.
A reasonably priced meal. Do you want to go expensive? Do you want to double or nothing?
I say reasonably priced meal for now. If either of our teams wins the final, then it's the expensive meal.
Wait a minute, how does that work?
So, whoever goes further pays for the meal. But if their team wins the world championship, then it gets to be a crowning achievement. It gets to be a celebratory dinner.
So, okay,
for the winner.
Then those are awful odds.
Not really.
So you and I have a bet. Whoever goes further
Gets a meal.
gets a meal, a reasonably priced meal from the other person.
Right.
So you want to double down on that. If the Suns win the championship, then it becomes an expensive meal. Warriors win the championship, becomes an expensive meal.
Right, because my mindset is that both of us are in a position right now. Your team is one game away from
You're
advancing.
making this way too complicated.
We can keep it as it is.
No, okay. How about this? We'll amend the bet. Winner gets a reasonably priced meal for winning this. Whoever goes further.
Right.
If your team makes it, one of these two teams is going to make it to the NBA Finals. It looks like
More than likely,
if they both meet there. How about double or nothing? That if the Suns get to the NBA Finals and win the championship, then it becomes a very expensive meal for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if they lose, then I'm off the hook.
Right.
Same thing. So you'll go double or nothing for the championship, or you could just tap out and go, I'll take my reason. What do you mean by reasonably priced meal?
I mean something that's not like necessarily at a quote unquote 5-star. You have to make the reservation in advance.
Do we have any 5-star restaurants in town?
I mean, I would describe certain restaurants as 5-star.
No. Give me. No. Stop talking in vague generalities. Where are you going to go if you win the bet? If your Suns get further than my Warriors?
You like Olive Garden? You like Olive Garden?
OG?
Okay.
All right, so that's where we'll go if you win.
Yes.
If I win, we're going to. So it needs to be So you set the standard sit-down meal with a server that you have to tip. In fact, I think you have to tip them double.
Okay.
So you go there. I'll go Chili's.
Okay.
That's fair, right?
That's fair.
Now, if your team wins the NBA Finals, where am I taking you?
I almost want to say maybe do a churrasco.
Churrasco. You want to do a Brazilian steakhouse?
Yeah.
All right. So Brazilian steakhouse. If your team wins, is that lunch or dinner?
Lunch because it's cheaper.
It'll be cheaper. All right. Lunch there. I got to spend about $30 for lunch. I don't know where I can spend $30 on lunch. Like La Paloma, Star Pass, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Something really expensive. All right. There you go. It's on. Are we going to bring anybody with us?
As a +1, I don't know. Probably.
Are we going together, or am I just giving you the money and you get to go and enjoy it without having to sit with me?
Depends on the location.
All right. Today's program is coming to you live from the studios of Wildcats Radio 1290. They're brought to you by Casino del Sol. Sol Sports, bet easy, win big, bet local, Casino del Sol. All right, so last night while my Warriors are getting worked, those of you that are Dubs fans, you were sitting there and you turned the TV off the way I did and were disgusted by the whole thing, and then I went and took a nap so I could do the late night show. Those of you that were rooting against me and the Suns, you saw something last night that even the biggest haters, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, have to respect about the Dubs. What is it? I'll tell you next, coming up here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Rebounded by Curry. Golden State is 8 of 18 from three-point territory. Green loses the ball. Break opportunity. Jones, one dribble and a J. On target for Tyus Jones.
Highlight courtesy TNT. Just more of the nonsense I saw yesterday as my Warriors got worked. Absolutely worked by the Memphis Grizzlies. Whoop that trick. Do you have can you try it again, Dragon Ball? I like hearing you do rap lyrics.
Oh, whoop that trick.
You're so uncool. What does it sound like? What is it really supposed to sound like? Do you have that? Are you looking for it?
Currently looking for it right now. Trying to find something that sounds clean at the very least, where it's like it's not super like, because it's always coming out of the speakers of the stadium.
Well,
so
they got a guy down there just standing there hyping it up. Whoop that trick.
Let's see if this works.
See, my version of it is much better than yours. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Now you try it. Play it again. I want to hear you try it.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
Say it with some gusto.
Oh, I'm trying to get the theme here. The beats.
The beats is the theme.
Also, there's a theme to the song. You know, you gotta be going after somebody with that kind of song. You know.
Just play it again. I want to hear you try it.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
With some gusto. Feel it in your soul.
I guess I'm just not an angry person.
It's not an angry song.
I mean, come on. You're talking about going after somebody.
It's about, I looked it up. I actually had to look it up today. It's about being an underdog. It's about underdogs fighting against overwhelming odds, like David versus Goliath.
Okay, that's a little bit
Whoop
of anger.
That trick.
There's a little bit of anger into that, you know, get a little bit of focus, a little bit of intensity.
A little bit of intestinal fortitude. Speaking of intestinal fortitude, we're going to talk about something in the next hour that's going to make you, it's going to make Dragon Ball.
I hate these stories about gross things.
And I love telling them, so that's why we're going to do more of them. All right. So last night, Stephen A. Smith on ESPN, is he on ESPN or is he on Fox? He's on ESPN.
He's on ESPN, and he's on every channel of ESPN.
Yeah, we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things.
Right.
I've told the story before that I was the one who originally had to put him on radio when I worked at Fox. And after the first time I had him on, I asked the producer, let's not get him on anymore. He's not fun. Apparently people like him. I haven't met one person that does, though. Have you?
I know a couple people that like Stephen A.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that does. I think most people I know just complain about him because he just screams about everything. But last night I came away with a little bit more respect for the Dubs, because let's be honest, unless you're a Warriors fan, they're pretty easy to hate. Steph Curry's so perfect and he sits there with his dot on his lap. If you're a hater, that's easy. Klay Thompson hasn't played forever. And then Draymond Green, the crotch-kicking big man for the Warriors, who gives the finger to the crowd, he's easy to hate, right?
Very easy.
He's very easy to hate. He's the biggest villain in the NBA right now. Think about it. He's the biggest heel. He might be the best heel in sports.
Would you say he's the biggest heel over Kevin Durant?
Oh yeah, because does Kevin Durant kick people in the crotch?
Well, no, but he's not. He's genuinely very he seems almost like a very hyper aggressive person, with the fact that he doesn't like it when people don't agree with him.
Who? Kevin Durant?
Yeah, Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant's just a big baby.
Okay.
Kevin Durant's a big baby. Draymond Green's just a villain. Until last night, he kind of showed a little bit. So last night, play me the Memphis song again. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Come on, say it with me. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. I gotta get you to do some Beastie Boys lyrics for me.
Oh, Beastie Boys. Oof.
Like, at least you could do their biggest hit. Fight for your right to party.
You know what? I don't want to do that only because I don't want to disappoint Coach Tommy Lloyd.
Because Tommy Lloyd's a big Beastie fan.
Lloyd's a huge Beastie Boys fan. If I don't do a justice-serving Beastie Boy reading, I fear like Tommy would not want to talk to me ever again.
You've already just let us down, so don't worry. There's no further humiliation can come your way after Whoop That Trick.
Right. So this is the population in mass. I don't want to disappoint Coach Tommy. I don't.
Now, because you said that, not only are we going to ask you to do some Beasties, then we're going to play it for Coach Tommy to get his thoughts.
Oh no!
You just signed your own death warrant right there, Coach Tommy. I'm sorry, but we're going to desecrate the Beasties by having Dragon Ball try to karaoke a little Beastie Boys.
I got to see about trying to get some lessons here.
Hey, ladies.
I got to get some lessons here, probably from like Ernie and
I don't
Bobby.
think it could help. Anyway, I don't want to go down the Dragon Ball rabbit hole. I do have some more, and I think people around the country have more respect. Draymond Green, after the ball game, did something I thought was rather unusual for Draymond Green, who just does nothing but to poke the eye of the crowd, especially on the road. During all of that hype, play me the song. Steph Curry's kind of looking and smiling. You know what Draymond Green was doing? Did you see what Draymond Green was doing at the game last night?
Oh, he
was dancing, had a towel, waving his towel over his head, just like the Grizzly fans going Whoop That Trick. Come on, say it, Dragon Ball.
Whoop. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
Wow. We have to go to karaoke one night.
Oh, no, we don't.
I'd love to have you karaoke.
We don't need to do that. That is something that we want to do. We throw need and want around a lot. We don't need to do that.
We want to do that. Anyway, Draymond Green, here's what he had to say after the whooping he took last night at the hands of the Memphis Grizzlies. And he was asked about his waving his towel, dancing along with the crowd as they were enjoying themselves, having one heck of a time.
Draymond, obviously that game got out of hand quickly, but in fourth quarter, you and Steph obviously were enjoying the crowd when they were playing Whoop That Trick. Kind of what was going through your mind there, and just kind of, you guys think about what Steph said earlier about the mindset you guys wanted to have about Whoop That Trick?
They're not going to whoop that trick alone. We're going to whoop that trick together if we're going to whoop that trick. You know, one thing I don't respect is people who only bring it when they win it. You know, embrace crowds when you win it. We call those front runners. We're not front runners, you know. We got our ass kicked. That's all right. It happens. But you don't be front runners. You know, when you spew it out, you gotta be willing to take it and not hide from it, not duck from it, not run from it. Embrace it. So I appreciated the crowd tonight and the energy that they brought to the game. You know, and if they want to whoop that trick, we're gonna whoop them together.
I thought that was pretty cool last night. I'll be honest, because, you know, I've been on a tirade all this week about fans' behavior, players' behavior. I got to tell you, I wanted to play that for you because I've been down on Draymond. Even though he plays for the team I root for, I beat him up pretty good on the show. I beat him up pretty good on the network. But I got to tell you, I have a little bit more respect for Draymond because he saw where he was last night, saw the situation, and you know what? He kind of let us behind the curtain a little bit and said, listen, hey, we got our butts kicked. They're having a good time. What am I going to do, sit there and pout? Or am I going to have a good time with them because the game was out of hand? There's no way we're going to come back after being down by 55. And he owned it. He owned it. He wore it. He took accountability for it. Good for Draymond Green.
If you're going to get punched in the mouth and you know it hurt, I always love this in prize fighting. When a punch really hurts, you got to smile at the guy that hit you with that punch. Sometimes you got to smile at it because you know what? You got hit with your best shot. Draymond dancing with the crowd, that's him smiling at the crowd. It's like, yeah, we took a whooping today. But I guarantee you ain't going to do a whooping 2 days in a row.
I don't know if it's because if I pop you a good one and we're fighting, I smile to say that didn't hurt me, but we all know we're lying. He just said, listen, they kicked our ass. I'm going to roll with the punch.
Right.
I'm going to roll with the punch. So good on Draymond for that.
You need to go ahead and when you have to take the big shot, you got to go and own it. You got to own that black eye.
More than anything else, he owned it.
You got to own the black eye when you wear it.
He owned it last night. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, coming up in the program. A GOAT is going to television. We haven't talked about this. I want to get into this. Does Tom Brady have really anything I want to hear when it comes to the National Football League? He's going to get a bunch of cash to talk to me for 3 hours every week when he gets done playing. What do you want to hear him say? We'll do that next. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is David Amata, and here's what's trending on 1290 here at 3:35. Former Arizona pitcher Chase Silseth is set to make his start in the MLB for the first time as he becomes the latest Wildcat to debut in the major leagues as the Angels slot him in to pitch on Friday as the starter. The Cardinals continue to bring their draft class together as they sign 3 more draftees from their rookie board, including 6th-round pick from USC Keontae Ingram. Broncos wideout Jerry Jeudy has been arrested and is being held without bail as he has been charged with second-degree criminal tampering with a domestic violence enhancer out in Colorado. After winning the Kentucky Derby, the horse Rich Strike will not be running in the Preakness, according to his owner Rick Dawson, to limit the amount of races in a short period of time for the horse. And that's what's trending locally and nationally here on 1290. Still more to come on the Rich Herrera Show. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Rich Herrera Radio Show rolls on a Thursday. Tomorrow, we're on the road at High Corbett Field. Final regular season home games for the University of Arizona. They'll take on Oregon State, the number 1 team in the nation, coming in for a 3-game set. By the way, just confirmed, Chip Hale will join us exclusively at 4 o'clock. We'll hear from the head coach of the University of Arizona baseball team. So that's coming up here in about 20 minutes from now, right?
Yep, about 20 minutes out.
All right, so we'll talk to Chip Hale about that, and then we'll broadcast out there live tomorrow in support of Arizona baseball. Also, tomorrow on the program, I've got an exclusive interview. You've heard all the stories about Phil Mickelson, right?
Oh, yeah, with the we're talking about the recent stuff about his gambling issues and things like that.
Yep, and about siding with the Saudis in their attempt to start a new rival to the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is in a book written by Alan Shipnuck. Now, full disclosure, he's married to my cousin, so I've known Alan since he was in high school.
Oh, wow!
So we go way back. He was an intern at Sports Illustrated and wrote his first cover article, and his career has just taken off since. He's the guy who's penning this book that is a bombshell, the unauthorized biography of Phil Mickelson. We're going to have an exclusive conversation with him tomorrow on the program that you're not going to hear anywhere else. You're going to hear it here, and then I'm going to play it on the network tomorrow night. So you get a little special preview of my one-on-one conversation with the author of the book that has just caused bombshell after bombshell after bombshell, and I'm sure there's more bombshells coming up once the book is released. I think he's doing. I was going back and forth with them. They're having a couple of small book signings, and then he's probably going to go out and do his national tour, starting with us tomorrow, to promote the book. But this is the one that kind of scared Phil away from being at the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
Caused the PGA to take his name off as host of a PGA Tour stop. And then the latest one is that how much did he lose? Like $40-50 million in gambling debts?
Based on what I remember reading when I did the update when it first came out, I was about $40 million.
Right. So it is a unvarnished look at Phil Mickelson, one of the most well-known and beloved PGA Tour players in the history of the game.
Well, ASU.
I didn't say here in Tucson. I just said across the country. I've never liked him because he was a scum devil.
Well, I'm just saying.
I hammered him when I did a lot of golf coverage when I worked at Fox.
Right.
And I would just hammer him on Fox to the point where I got feedback like, hey, leave my boy alone.
Got to take a step back a little bit.
So you know what I did?
Oh, no.
I doubled down. Don't tell me what to say. Come on, you know me. So anyway, that's coming up on the program tomorrow. Speaking of that, PGA Tour Superstore brings us this portion of the program. PGA Tour Superstore. Here's the deal. And I'm not kidding. I got an email the other day from some online store. It said in big letters, Mother's Day is over. Start thinking about Dad. All right, it's time to start thinking about Dad and Father's Day. So here's the deal. PGA Tour Superstore at Oracle and Limberlost. Don't mess around. Here's what I was doing. They go, hey, what do you want for Father's Day? Oh, I don't know. Anything's fine. No, tell them exactly specifically what you want. Tell them, listen, I love you guys. The T-shirt you got me last year with your faces on it was nice, but I want a brand new golf shirt. I want new golf shoes. I want a dozen golf balls. And I want you to go to PGA Tour Superstore on Oracle and Limberlost and get them for me. I need a new putter. I need some clothing. Give me some Black Clover golf apparel, or maybe get me something from Nike or Under Armour or Puma or even Barstool Sports. They have them all right there, PGA Tour Superstore. And the best part of it is, you really want to step up and get your dad something great, we have a special for you. Mention the radio show. Mention the Rich Herrera radio show. Mention Wildcats Radio 1290 while you're checking out, and they will take $20 off your purchase of $100 or $50 off a purchase of $250. So you want to step up, get dad a new putter, boom, they'll take $50 off the purchase of $250 or more. You want to get them some really nice golf shirts? Get them a couple. They'll take $20 off your purchase of $100. You want to get them some great golf shoes? Boom, they'll take $20 off your purchase of $100 or more. It's outstanding. PGA Tour Superstore. Shop with the pros at Tucson's PGA Tour Superstore, home for golf pros and beginners and people like you and people like me, and the best place to find stuff for Father's Day. All right, number for you to join us here on the program, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We'll open up the phone lines for you in just a little bit, because I've got the story that Dragon Ball, you're going to have to be professional to get through, pal. You're not going to like the story. Because you hated the story I gave you last week about Chris Long drinking his own dip spit.
Rich, that wasn't last week. That was literally like maybe yesterday or maybe 2 days ago.
2 days ago. It was a great story.
No, I did not.
I have
like
one
it.
even worse today. I've just decided I'm going to try to gross you out every week. You've got such a delicate constitution. This will be fun.
Oh, man.
I do want to talk about Tom Brady, because he's now going to be the next big voice on Fox.
Right.
But before that, Discreet's calling in on line one. I'm always going to take a telephone call before listening to Dragon Ball, so let's take a telephone call real quick. Discreet, you're on Wildcats Radio 1290. Bear down. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you, Rich. Bear down. I appreciate you, doing yeoman's work, working double shifts, right? So
somebody's got to pay the bills. And I'm doing this because I'm actually going to go out of town, Discreet. I'm going to go on vacation. I've decided that it's not going to be cheap because flights are expensive. I'm going to go to New York City to see my son over Memorial Day weekend. So he's got a 3-day weekend. They're going to let him out of the academy for 2 days that he can stay in a hotel and actually sleep underneath the covers in a real bed, because at his school, they have inspection every morning. So instead of sleeping under the covers, they just sleep on top of it in sweats, or if it's really cold, they put a towel over the top of them. That way they don't have to remake their rack every morning. So I said, all right, I'm going to come to town, get a hotel room. You can actually sleep in a bed underneath covers. You don't have to make it in the morning, and you can relax for a couple days.
That's a beautiful thing. No, I like that. My kids are, kind of the same age, like mid-20s. And I'm trying to get out to New York City myself. One of my fellow local Dorado and U of A grad alum, his son ended up playing college baseball, and so I enjoy kind of listening to you. You talked with Ed Bosberg about your son, and stuff, so it's cool stuff.
So we're going to go. So I'm going to fly out there for Memorial Day. And we're gonna. I told him this. I don't know. Did you see they just had the world premiere of Top Gun on top of the USS Midway in San Diego?
Oh no, and I didn't know exactly where they held it, but I did see that they had the stars out somewhere.
So I was actually the original planner of that event. When I was working at the Fan in San Diego, I approached the Midway and I put them in touch with the production company and the movie folks, and started that whole thing in progress. So I had promised Riggs that I was going to take him to that. Well, he's in New York, after COVID. So I said, if I come to New York City, You're going to put on your summer whites, and we're going to go watch Top Gun in Manhattan in Times Square somewhere. So I'm going to get him and probably half a dozen of his buddies, take him to the movies, and then we'll go drinking afterwards.
Oh, that's awesome. So he's in the Naval Academy?
He's at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. So he's a Navy He's a Navy reservist, and they train. They train. You either go active duty
tied to the Marines.
Well, I'm sorry.
They're tied to the Marines?
No, it's Merchant Marine, singular, not plural.
Okay. Yeah,
so they've trained military sea lift officers and supply ship officers that serve as naval reservists, or you go active duty. He's planning on going active duty, and he wants to fly once he graduates, because it's like Army, West Point, and the rest. So I'm going to get him and his buddies. I told him they all have to wear white, so I'll pay for the tickets and the popcorn, and we're going to go watch the movie in Times Square.
Okay.
So
well,
anyway,
quick, awesome.
All right, what did you want to talk about before my nonsense?
Right. So I'm going to leave the Phil Mickelson stuff till after I get a chance to hear the content tomorrow. But that's a great setup. So I'm one of the few rare guys that will call national radio sports talk and talk a good golf, phone call every now and then. So,
I like it.
So in the interim, though, the Tom Brady thing, I mean, I don't know, just whatever. It's just, it has me scratching my head and just kind of like, do we really need more elitist news about, Tom Brady? And I like the guy. I lived in the Bay Area for 16 years and met him a couple times by virtue of some of the work I did, et cetera. But a good guy and all that stuff. But come on.
Has he ever said anything interesting in his life?
Well, that's the thing. He's so politically correct, right? That it's like, what, unless it's going to sound like, my theory, tongue in cheek, is maybe it'll sound like an episode of, who is it, Michael Moore, the documentary guy. He had a film called Roger and Me.
Right.
So we're going to find out that, Tom Brady's really just got Roger Goodell in his hip pocket, and they're just, partners and kind of like ran the whole NFL from the inside underworld or something. I don't know.
Well, and that's the thing. So for me, I'm wondering, like, it's kind of like Derek Jeter versus Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez always said stupid things. Derek Jeter's never said anything out loud that you can ever quote. Derek Jeter is the best at he can stand there and talk for 10 minutes and say nothing. That's why he's beloved. Tom Brady, same thing. So has he ever said anything interesting, number one? And number two, if you don't live in New England and you don't live in Tampa Bay, the rest of America hates him.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a good point. It's a good point. So, but that was it. Just kind of wanted to check in and catch up, and I'll see you on the radio tonight. I like Amy Lawrence. I like her show, so love it that you're a stand-in guy. That's beautiful. And I get it. When you're when we're paid by the hour, we got to get all the hours in, right, before we go on vacation.
That's it exactly. All right, discreet. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it, brother. I mean, Dragon Ball. Has Tom Brady ever said anything interesting in his life? Do you recall anything Tom Brady said that we're like, whoa?
The only time I recall Tom Brady saying anything interesting was when, after Plaxico Burress said, we're going to beat the Patriots, I think he said 17-14. And Brady's response, is that it? We're only going to score 14 points? And that was it. And that it's brilliantly illustrated in the America's game for the Giants of that year. Said when Michael Strahan said that he heard that, comes like, oh, so you're that confident? Okay, buckle up, let's go. That's the only time Tom Brady has ever said anything interesting, and of course, it was to his detriment.
All right, so there you go. All right, do I have time to get to this? Because
yes, absolutely.
Well, no. Chip Hale's coming on at the top of the hour.
Right.
So I got to move some things around because I wanted it. Maybe we'll try to do this week. Best announcer, favorite announcer. Is there somebody that you love? Like, I'll be honest. I'm watching the NBA playoffs. I'm not a fan of Spiro Dides.
Oh, no?
No, he didn't do anything for me. Okay. Iron Eagles doing the game last night. Yeah, didn't do anything for me. The number one crew of Mike Bream, Van Gundy, and Jackson, I'll listen to them all day long.
Yes.
They're awesome.
Yes.
Right? Dave Pash, pretty good.
Yes.
Some of the other crews, meh. So in football, who's that guy that you want to hear all the time?
For me, it's always been Ian Eagle. I actually really like Ian Eagle's play-by-play. I preferred it when he was teamed up with Dan Fouts.
Right.
When it was the Beard and the Bird, as was their tag team name. But
I can't believe I'm going to ask this. Who called them the Beard and the Bird?
That was how they always, when they had to send it to the National to get the quick updates and things like that.
I never caught that.
No, yeah, it was always like Bill Cowher. Everything they would send it back out to
the Beard and the Bird.
Back to the Beard and the Bird.
Okay.
I will say the one guy that I've been really, really surprised with in the football announcing thing. I'm really, really surprised about how much I actually enjoy listening to Steve Tasker. Steve Tasker is a very, very smart.
You just you go off on the strangest little tangents. I was like Tony Romo, Chris Collinsworth.
Well,
like the big names. You're the king of obscure announcers. Who do you like? Ian Eagle. Really? You're not going to talk about Al Michaels or Chris Collinsworth or the big boys?
These are the ones that are obvious. You know, the big national ones. These are the ones that these are the guys that are top of their key. But you always want to talk about the guys.
You're a B-side guy.
I like the B-side of the tape. Sometimes you get some good sounds on the B-side.
Okay, I'll ask everybody else. Who were the best announcers in football? Will Tom Brady be able to hang and give you as much insight as Tony Romo? Tony Romo's pretty good at calling a game. Chris Collinsworth is pretty good at calling a game. Who's number one for? Well, Fox. It was Aikman and Buck. Now they're going to Amazon. Troy Aikman, really good at breaking a game down for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know who struggled a little bit was Booger. Booger got all kinds of people that got on him. And it's interesting because Booger's the one who taught me how to watch film, Booger McFarland.
Right.
And do you when you're breaking down to those guys who are analyzing games, do you start on the offensive side of the ball or do you start on the defensive side of the ball? And for Booger, because he was defensive lineman, when we would watch tape, he taught me the first thing you have to look for is where the safeties are.
Right.
And if you could read that, so when he's reading the plays, where is he looking? Is he looking at it from the defensive perspective? Where are the quarterbacks and what's he doing and the wide receivers and all the rest of that? Or do you look at it like a Collinsworth, like a Romo, like a Roger? I was going to say Roger Staubach. I was just naming Cowboy quarterbacks. Do you look at it like a Romo? Do you look at it like a Troy Aikman? So the first thing Troy Aikman does is, when they walk up to the line and Peyton Manning's going, Omaha, look for the bandit, look for the unblocked linebacker, and then look back to see whether they're in cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, and then figure out, send someone in motion. So they break all that down as the play's going on, and the rest of us are looking where the ball is. They're looking at everything else except the football.
Mm-hmm.
As they break things down.
Right.
Unless you're the Beard and the Bird, and I'm not sure exactly what they do. Anyway,
Dan was also a good quarterback. Let's not pretend Dan Fouts wasn't a good quarterback. He could read a defense just as well.
Well, you know one of the highlights of his career was, don't you?
Well, besides yelling at Kellen Winslow,
working with me.
That's true. That's true. You did work with Dan.
I have worked with Dan Fouts before. We have done a game before. All right, number for you to join us in the program, 520-848-1290. We're going to talk with Chip Hale. He joins us next, right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Big series coming up this weekend at High Corbett Field. The number 1 team in the nation, the Oregon State Beavers, coming into Tucson. It's the final regular series of the season at High Corbett Field. Saturday will be senior day, with a half dozen Arizona Wildcats being honored. Joining us right now to talk about it is the head coach of the University of Arizona baseball program, Chip Hale, our guest here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Bear down, Chip. How are you?
I'm doing well. Rich, how you doing? It was a great day for graduation today for the athletes. So had nice practice and now just relaxing a little bit.
Let's talk about, I'll let you choose where we go first. Number one, we can talk about your appearance on the Brett Boone podcast. Or we could talk about Oregon State coming in this weekend. Where do you want to go first?
Well, I think we're better off talking about Oregon State because that's such an important series, and we want all the residents here at Tucson and all the students that are still around to come out and make it a tough environment and help us win this series. It's a huge series for us.
Let's talk about the importance and the urgency for you for these games against Oregon State. Again, one of the top-ranked teams in the country. Where Arizona's sitting right now, we're looking at seeding opportunities for the Pac-12 tournament. What's really on the line this weekend against Oregon State?
Well, you've said pretty much all of it, but at the core of it is just playing winning baseball. We have not been doing that of late. We've been playing cleaner and cleaner baseball. We haven't made an error in a while, which is a great accomplishment for us. We've really improved our defense. We just haven't been able to get that winning hit or that winning pitch in games. So what's happened is obviously we won the ASU series, we won against Nevada, but we slipped up against USC. I mean, that was a series with 9 games to go. We felt like if we could get 6 of those 9, we'd be in really good shape hosting a regional and seeding wise for the Pac-12 tournament. And in turn, we win the 1. So it puts us now in a spot where we're playing the number 1 team in the country who's excellent, got great pitching and swings the bats really well. So we have to start playing winning baseball again.
When you look at how these games set up, first of all, for the series, what's the difference for me? And again, help me because this is kind of a clown question. Coming from professional baseball, I'm always looking winning series, 2 out of 3. Joe Madden says if you can meatloaf them, you're doing pretty well. Now that you're in the heat of college baseball in the Pac-12, is it winning 2 out of 3, or do you need to win all 3 games for it to be considered a successful series?
No, not at all. I think 2 out of 3 would be hugely successful. Yeah, I think you stay with that mantra. That's what we've tried to do, from day 1 of Pac-12 play. If you get 20 out of 30, you're in really good shape. So, yeah, we'll stick with that. We won 1 out of 3 at USC. We're not going to try to make it up and sweep. We just get our 2 out of 3. But again, Rich, even if you win 1 or you're not able to win 1, we need to start playing that winning type of baseball. So, when we get a chance to drive a run in with 2 outs, start getting that big hit. Or, make sure we don't leave any runners on with less than 2 outs in third base. And just do the things we need to do, because if we do slip up in those areas, this team is too good. And if our defense does not continue to play like it has, they're going to take advantage of it. So it's a great challenge. They're the number 1 team in the country for a reason, and we know we can play with them. We've played with teams at their level all year, so it's going to be great. And this is where you want to be, and with the opportunity to strengthen your seed in the tournament and strengthen your chance at hosting a regional.
The team has been inconsistent. We were talking with Michael Lev the other day, and I know that's frustrating for the players. I know it's frustrating for you. Is there one little aspect where if you just made that little subtle adjustment, you're going to see this team just take off and go? Or is it just we need to grind and grind, and you better have a bunch of fans out there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to be that 10th man?
We'd love that. That'd be huge for us to have that 10th man. It's going to be important. Obviously it's going to be warm, nice warm nights, beautiful nights for baseball, and then Sunday's going to be very hot. So those should all play, into our favor. Quite frankly, they're coming out of some cold weather. It's going to be a little different, and they're not used to the hostile fans that we have down here in Tucson. But again, it's going to be a grind the rest of the way, Rich. We are not in a position, with our pitching depth and some injuries we've incurred. We need everybody to pitch well. We need all the guys who've pitched, they up and down to really straighten it out here at the end. And I know the guys are focused. They're ready to go. We had a good week of practice. The first week we did not have a Tuesday game, so we can sort of, focus the whole week on Oregon State, getting ourselves healthy. We've had a lot of sickness in the group. With some flu stuff going on, and I think we're going to get everybody back on Friday. We'll see. A couple guys came back to practice today and were a little bit weak, but I think by tomorrow they should be in good shape.
Do you feel like the team's up for the challenge? Like, hey, you know what, Oregon State, let's see what you have, and we're going to show you what Arizona baseball is all about.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where we're at. I think, we're looking at the kids that graduated today and got through that and just listening to them talk, and there's definitely an excitement to it. But there is every weekend. The Pac-12 is a tough conference. There's a lot of travel in it. Everywhere we go, the guys get excited. But I think there's maybe a little extra this week. They know what's on the line. They know it's the number one team. This is a very proud group of guys that went to Omaha last year, and they want to do it again.
It's interesting because we always talk about the sense of urgency. You know what it's like when you get to this point at the end of a season that you have to play with a sense of urgency, whether you're trying to get a wild card or you're trying to win a division at the next level, or the Pac-12, that we're getting down to the nitty-gritty and we're looking for those seeds, getting ready for the tournament up in Scottsdale. How do you measure making sure that they play with the sense of urgency, but they're not squeezing the sawdust out of the bats, as you say?
Yeah, great point. And that's the hard thing about baseball. With football, you can run and hit somebody and tackle them and get excited, and you have to really learn how to breathe in baseball. And we work on it. We work on it on a daily basis to try to just play at that level that's going to be best for them and not get too hyped up. There'll be some guys that get excited, and we want it to be after their at bats, not during them.
Exactly, because that's kind of the fun of college baseball is there is a party atmosphere to it, and the players get to have a lot of fun when they're playing at High Corbett Field in front of a huge crowd.
No doubt. You're exactly right. But like I said, let's get the hit, and then we can have some fun and get excited. Try not to get too pumped up to do it. And it's a tough thing, and you've seen guys at the highest level have a hard time with this. So, we're working on it, like I said, daily, and, it's just got to tone it down. And again, we'll have fun. These guys, this, like I said before, this is where they wanted to be from the start. And, the coaches are ready. The players are ready. It's just time to get it on.
Well, and one of the things is these are such young men. We forget about it because, again, you look at your team, there's some guys that look awfully polished, but they're still college kids. And I've just being around college baseball for the last couple of years, it seems to me like that home field advantage, that crowd can influence these kids so much. And if you walk out there at High Corbett and I got all the fans clad in red and blue, boy, that picks this team up. And I kind of see that it's a little intimidating for other schools to walk in here when you got High Corbett rocking the way that you want it.
No doubt about it. We have great fans, and we packed it for Arizona State. It was a huge help. We have the great crowds for Stanford, and we had some great come from behind wins. So they're going to be very instrumental in this whole deal this weekend. And like I said, our guys are, they're pumped to do it. They're out of school now, so there's a sense of relief in the classes, and they can really focus on the baseball side of it.
The preview. Give us a little bit of preview of what Oregon State does, what we're going to see, and what makes them so good.
Yeah, well, the starter tomorrow, Jerpy, is probably battling it out with a bunch of guys across the country to be the Golden Spikes Award winner. Just incredible stats, 120 strikeouts and 13 walks. And we tried to look at a lot of tape on him and what other teams have done and anybody who's had success. And we got an idea of sort of a game plan to attack him, but he's as good as anybody. Left-handed pitcher, upper 80s, low 90s, and he's got a funky little angle to him, so it makes him tough on hitters. They play really good defense. I think they're number one in the conference. Now, they do play on AstroTurf up there in Oregon, at Oregon State in Corvallis, so maybe it'll be a little different over at High Corbett, maybe a little faster, harder for them, some different hops, which will help us. but they do play tremendous defense, and they have a ton of left-handed hitters, Rich. And they'll. So if you got a few guys that are good bunters, and they just. One thing you always see with really good teams, whether it's high school, college, or professional, is their at bats seem to be, if you watch a game with them playing, is their team at bats. So if they need to put a bunt down, they put it down. If they need to get a runner over, they sacrifice themselves. They're very good at that. So it's going to be a tough matchup, but like I said, we're excited for it.
How much do your guys look forward to when you have somebody? And listen, there's going to be a bunch of guys with radar guns there. There's going to be a bunch of scouts with stopwatches watching this game. How much does it bring out the competitive nature in your club?
It'll heighten it to the max, and that's what we're excited about. Jerry Weinstein is one of the great, coaching legends here in Sac City baseball. You know the name, and he's been doing baseball stuff for a long time. We call him the catching guru. He came in town this week to watch this series, so the guy saw him today at practice, and that in itself just gets you excited to see legends like that around.
How much fun is it for you when you see those scouts sitting in the stands taking notes?
Well, I've seen a lot of them, and I know most of them, so I'm excited for our guys, because the bottom line here at Arizona is we expect to tell our recruits this. We expect you to come here and have the greatest college experience you can have, get your degree, and if you're going to come here, you should aspire to be a Major League Baseball player. So the more scouts, the better chance we have of getting these guys when they're done playing here at the university out in the pro ranks. You see tomorrow you're going to see one of the pitchers from the College World Series last year in Silseth pitching for the Los Angeles Angels, and that's exciting stuff.
That's crazy that he's already there pitching for the Halos. One last thing about this, Senior Day coming up on Saturday. We were talking with Dave Hickey a little bit earlier. It's one of the special traditions that you have in college baseball and the University of Arizona. Seeing these kids take their final couple games wearing a Wildcat uniform. You remember what it's like, your final game wearing an Arizona Wildcat uniform. How special is it for you, for the families, and for these players to be able to share a moment like that?
It's unbelievable, and like I said, a bunch of them got to go through graduation. It's so neat that we do that now with the athletic graduation. We didn't have an opportunity to do that back in the 80s, Rich. I played my last regular season game was up in at Packard Stadium in Tempe against ASU, and it was the weekend we walked for graduation. I didn't get a chance to go through it, so it was really cool to see the kids come across the stage today, and then they'll be honored on Saturday night. They get some really cool. Their jerseys are framed, and just a really quality stuff that the university does for them. And I'm very proud of it. As you know, I'm a very proud Wildcat. And it's great to see these kids, get their degrees and play their 4 years, some of them 5 years here at the U of A.
It is cool. And again, reminder, games Friday, Saturday is senior night, and then the final home game of the regular season is Sunday against the number one team of the nation, Oregon State. Then the Cats will finish the regular season in Oregon before coming back to the state for the Scottsdale tournament, the inaugural Pac-12 tournament, and we'll carry all that action for you here on 1290. All right, I do have to ask you about going on with Boone, because I listened. And Chip, he's had on in recent weeks, he's had on Brett Favre, he's had on James Lofton, he's had on Diamond Dallas Page. The only person that I heard him starstruck was talking with Chip Hale about his recruiting visit and how much, he was naming Arizona. Well, he's dropping Joe Estes. He's talking about Steve Strong. He's remembering the entire lineup of the team that you played on and just standing there going, that's baseball royalty. I thought that was pretty fun.
It was great to talk to him. I worked with Brett in the Oakland A's organization. He was working in the minor leagues, and he realizes how good of a player he was at the professional level. And I remember when we recruited him, and obviously everybody knew Bob Boone at the time and his greatness. And to see his son come in here, and obviously it was a funny thing. We would have loved to have him play here, but the coaches, they went another, like he said, they just went down another avenue, and he became a great Trojan, and he hurt us pretty good when we went over there. But yeah, he remembered, and he loved, and that's the whole thing when the kids see these guys us go to Omaha, and they get excited. And that's why when you go out and recruit freshmen and sophomores in high school, they love it. You know, we were over there at USC, and all the guys that came out to see us and to see the red and blue, they love they love the uniform, they love the Wildcats. So he was the same way, and to hear some of the things he said, I agree with you. It was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Brian was telling us that Willie Tuatama was at the USC games and stuck his head in there to say hi to Brian. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, it was unfortunately we only won one of the 3 games, but it was a really nice trip. We had a ton of family there. We were able to get the moms out there for Mother's Day.
Oh wow!
I was amazed at how many moms showed up. And it's always one of those deals. And Brian asked me that question. It's so tough when you go to LA, whether it's UCLA or USC, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball. The coaching staff gets really uptight because there's so many kids that are home.
Right.
And you don't know how they're going to perform. Are they going to try too hard? Are they getting their rest? You run the gamut there. So it was really fun to be there. And unfortunately, we couldn't get that 2 out of 3 like we wanted.
All right, we're going to look for the meatloaf against Oregon State coming up this weekend. Get your tickets, everybody. 621-CATS. Go to ArizonaWildcats.com. You can download the tickets onto your phone. Walk right in. Concessions will be ready to go. And we'll be out there on Friday for the first of the 3-game set. Chip, bear down. Thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck. I'll catch up with you next week.
All right. Thank you, Rich. Go Cats.
All right, go Cats. Thank you so much, Chip Hale, joining us here on Wildcats Radio 1290. All right, coming up on the program, I'm going to gross out Dragon Ball. You know that, don't you, Dragon Ball? Are you ready?
I'm never ready for that.
Oh, you're going to want to hear that. It's coming up next. Our thanks to Chip Hale for joining us here on the program. Don't forget Arizona taking on Oregon State, number one team of the nation. Number one team of the nation. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll have all three games for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Today's show is brought to you in part by Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. Topo Chico has been around for 125 years as a sparkling mineral water. Now it's a hard seltzer. Available throughout Tucson. Variety packs, tangy lemon lime, strawberry guava, pineapple twist, and tropical mango. Just 100 calories in a 12-ounce can. And this week, I should say, tomorrow, we'll give you a chance to win a $25 gift card so you can run out and grab some of your own. Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. All right, number for you to join us here on the program, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I'm going to get to the gross story I saw today, which Dragon Ball is trying to do everything he can to not have us do this story, right?
Everything within my power.
Too bad. We're going to do it anyway. It's going to make everybody cringe. Let me grab Alan real quick on line one. Bear down, Alan. Welcome. You're on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, Rich, you only have one person watching your show. Is it because of...
Okay. Thank you so much, Alan, for calling in. Sorry, I think he... What? No, thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate your call. Number for you to join us here on the program, 520-848-1290. He's talking about our stream. There's just a couple people watching today. Sometimes it goes up, there's a bunch. Sometimes it goes down, there's a little. It kind of varies from day to day, but thank you for your concern, Alan, and thank you for the call. Number for you to join us, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290, the number for you to join us here on the show. All right. I don't have time to get to this. You ruined it for me, Dragon Ball. You ruined it for me because now we went too long. We took a bad telephone call. Now we can't. Now I don't have time to get to it in this segment, so I'm going to push it to the next segment. Can I just tell you a little bit of the story?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Are you going to cringe?
I mean,
because you've been a big baby about this. I don't want to do this story.
I always cringe.
Because we did the story earlier this week about the Spit Cup, where Chris Long, NFL player, was doing a podcast. He was dipping, and he grabbed the wrong dip cup, and he drank his dip spit. And you're still turning green over that.
It's such a gross thing to have happen. And yeah, it's an accident. It can happen to anybody, but it's gross. It's such an avoidable thing.
It is, but it was pretty funny to watch. No?
Yeah. No, I don't like it.
Okay, so again, you're good with people getting kicked in the crotch, but you're not good.
Physical humor, I am fine with. It is just gross.
Okay. I've got a grosser story for you. What's the grossest thing you've ever eaten in your life? I took a little survey. I walked around the office today. What's the grossest thing you've ever had?
Probably like the grossest thing I've ever had myself is I think I may have tried. I tried one time like cow tongue, and that was it.
Ooh, I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, no. Tried cow tongue once, and I swore
I'm gonna throw
never
this
again.
Open. What's the grossest thing you've ever had? 848-1290, 520-848-1290. The number for you, Joyce. What's the grossest thing you've ever tried in your life? Oh, look at Dragon Ball. Let's go to break. I don't want to hear this. Oh, you're going to want to hear this.
No.
I finally found use for a use for Jake and Logan Paul. I have no use
for them.
I now have a use for them. And I'm going to make Dragon Ball cringe. But I'm going to ask you, what's the grossest thing you've ever tried? 520-848-1290. The number for you, Joyce. What are you doing? Did I go too long?
I went in. I just had to go ahead and refresh it for a little bit there.
Okay. Now, can I keep talking here?
Yeah, you can keep going.
This is 1290.
And this is David Omata, and this is what's trending here on 1290 here at 4:33. Arizona begins their final home series of the regular season as they take on Stanford, with first pitch will be here at the top of the hour. That'll be on our sister station, KTUC. The full NFL schedule is set to be announced here at the top of the hour as well, but teams have begun releasing their season openers as the Cardinals reportedly will start their season at home against the Chiefs on September 11th. And the NBA continues to celebrate their 75th season as an organization. The league announced that the names of the conference titles and conference final MVPs will be changed, with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson being the names chosen for the conference final MVPs of the East and Western Conference, respectively. And in the NBA playoffs, we go ahead and see that the Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers continue their series. It's Philadelphia trying to stave off elimination at home. That game right now sitting 22-16 in favor of Miami. And in the NHL, Carolina and Boston still tied at 0, with Toronto and Tampa Bay set to start their next game, with Tampa Bay trying to stave off elimination against the Maple Leafs. That'll be at 4:30. Now we'll go ahead and send it back to the Rich Herrera Show. That is what's trending locally and nationally here on 1290. This is Wildcats Radio, 1290.
All right, we continue with you here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coming up on the program, I do want to talk about, by the way, you got to explain to me the whole, in just a little bit, Dragon Ball, you need to help explain the hoopla around the biggest non-story that everyone's going to talk about with the NFL schedules. Not right now, because I'm going to gross you out first.
Right. No, we're going to do that first, and then I'll go ahead and I'll try to explain a little bit.
So this is the grossest story that I found today, because I think it's kind of fun making Dragon Ball squirm a little bit.
This
and
certainly
you give
does
me,
that.
and if you're watching the stream, he does give you the worst evil eye ever.
I mean, I don't think it's that bad.
Oh, it's a bad evil eye.
I don't think it's that bad.
What's the craziest thing you've ever eaten?
Again, for me, probably it would be cow tongue.
Cow tongue.
Yeah.
I've had cow tongue. I've had menudo, so that's tripe.
Menudo, I don't think is that weird.
It's cow intestine.
I mean, yeah.
It's tripe.
Yeah.
If you know what, would you eat cow intestine?
I mean, I have.
Right.
And I eat that every single time I'm sick. That's why, to me, it's not that weird.
So you have menudo when you're sick?
Yeah, when I have like a cold or a flu or something like that, typically I'll have menudo because to me, it's a great, cleanser of the sinuses and things like that.
Oh, I have it when I'm hungover.
I mean, you could do that to it too.
It's the world's greatest hangover cure. But I found something online today, and I made you record it for me. And I just want to ask everybody, what's the grossest thing you've ever had? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. All right, so I'm not a big fan of Jake and Logan Paul. I think they're clowns.
Yeah, you've mentioned this to me on multiple occasions here.
So, have they fought anybody? I mean, are they just all hype? Have they fought anybody, or are they just YouTube stars?
I would say
they're famous for being famous.
Yeah, they're famous for being famous. They are more so, to me, YouTube stars than they are fighters, only because I don't know if I could say they've really fought anybody of value.
Right. So they fight other celebrities. They're the Kardashians. They're the Kardashians of fighting.
Yeah.
Famous for being famous. Is that a good way to put it?
I mean, that's pretty much exactly what it is. They're famous for being famous, and then also like getting gypped on like Pokemon cards and things like that too.
Right.
So
they're clowns.
I mean, they're basically just that.
They're clowns. So this popped up today in a story that I saw. They have, I guess it's their podcast they do on YouTube, because they're big YouTube stars. They had some dude come in, and he brought in all this raw food. He's this guy who's all about eating raw food. And it was gross. Here's the clip.
Guys, we got liver, heart, pancreas, spleen, kidney. We got some bone marrow. And since it's your birthday, you know what? I got you some extra. I got you some testicles.
Yeah,
I got some extra.
Okay, stop right
in
there.
here.
He brought in all this crazy stuff. So I was thinking about this, and I walked around the office today. So I'm going to ask everybody, what's the craziest thing you've ever eaten? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Stop sitting there like a baby wincing at this.
Rich, it's not the issue of, what part of the animal are they eating that bothers me. There's a second part to this that, again, needs to be reiterated.
They ate raw Rocky Mountain oysters.
Yes.
They ate raw Rocky Mountain oysters. Have you ever had a Rocky Mountain oyster?
No.
You know what a Rocky Mountain oyster is?
No.
You don't know what calf fries are?
No.
Yes, you do.
No, I do not.
All right. So if you know what calf fries are the castrated part of a bull.
Right.
That's a Rocky Mountain oyster.
Okay.
So they had raw Rocky Mountain oysters. This is a family show, so I'm trying to be good.
Right.
So when I was working in the National League, and Coors Field just opened up, the announcers for the Rockies would send over food. So sometimes if you're sitting in the booth, the announcers next to you will send over a treat or something. Like I sent over margaritas once to Tom Candiotti, or I'd bring ice cream up or something, or whatever we had that was really, really good. In San Francisco, they'll send you garlic fries. Kruk and Kipe will send you garlic fries into the booth. In Colorado, they send the visiting broadcasters Rocky Mountain oysters. And you go, ooh, what are these? They go, oh, they're a special delicacy that we serve here at Coors Field. And it's in a little boat with ranch dressing. Stop looking like a little baby. Listen to the story. And I think it was Jack Corrigan at the time. Remember, they used to be here at High Corbett Field for spring training when the Rockies first started. So they send over this little boat, and the other announcer's like, "Ooh, these are really good." So they start chomping down on them. They're deep fried in batter and beer batter, like they look like corn dog nuggets. And then they dip them in the ranch dressing, and then you eat them one by one by one by one by one. Half inning later, Rocky announcers would come in and go, "Oh, hey, what'd you think of the Rocky Mountain oysters?" And guys that didn't know what they were, I did, so I didn't eat them. But guys that didn't know what they were, like, "Oh my gosh, these are the greatest things in the whole wide world." He goes, "What are these?" The calf fries are Rocky Mountain oysters. What are they? And then they look over and they go, "It's the, well, I'll say it politely, it's a castrated part of a bull." Woo!
It's something to be said about when you're eating something and you don't know what it is.
Right.
That just makes it all the more just harmful.
So I would like to know from our listeners, what is the craziest thing you've ever eaten? What's the craziest thing you've ever eaten, Dragon Ball?
Again, the craziest thing I've ever gone through with eating was cow tongue. That's about as crazy as I've ever gotten. I can't say that. I don't like to attempt to eat things that
never
are
mind.
bizarre.
You are so non-fun. You're so not fun.
What else am I gonna eat?
All right, so I walked through the office today, and here's what I got. I had somebody who told me he once ate hippo.
Hippo?
He had hippo. It was served on a big platter like a roasted pig and a pork pull, and he had hippo for dinner once.
Okay. I've got to ask, did this person tell you if it was like a full-grown hippo?
No, just the piece of hippo meat.
Okay.
And they ate it, and he said it tasted like chicken, which is the answer for everybody. What does that taste like? Chicken. I don't know why everything tastes like chicken, but he had hippo. He had roasted hippo. So I'm interested. What's the wildest thing and most exotic thing you've ever eaten? 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. Same person. Snapping turtle. His dad caught a snapping turtle, de-shelled it. They put it in a little buttermilk and with breadcrumbs, fried it up. He had snapping turtle, fried cornmeal, rattlesnake, squirrel, rabbit, escargot, gator. He's had haggis before. So what's the craziest thing anybody's ever eaten? You know, I got a great story about something just totally gross. Phil Garner used to be the manager of the he played for the Pirates. He was the manager of the Brewers, I think, when he told me this story. I'll never forget it. Scrap iron. He told me about eating squirrel brains. So he's from down south. They would shoot and catch squirrels. You whop them off, put the heads in a pot. Everything melts off of it, and it just looks like an egg. They crack it open, pour it into a pan with eggs, and eat them with scrambled eggs. And he says it is a delicacy down in Louisiana.
That gives new meaning to the idea of my brain's been scrambled, doesn't it?
What's the craziest thing you've ever eaten? 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. David, line 1, help me out here. Dragon Ball's completely disgusted. I love the look on his face. Bear down. You're on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Well, Rich, I think I want to discuss Dragon Ball even more here. You know, as I mentioned to you just a couple days ago, I grew up in the Philippines. I went to high school in the Philippines. And as a challenge to each other, the baseball team, we all went out one time, and it was maybe aided a little bit with a few maybe a lot of San Miguel beers.
Okay.
We challenged each other to eat balut.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I'm Filipino, and I don't know what that is.
This is a fermented egg, which has already begun to grow an embryo, which is then taken, dipped in water, and boiled. And what they do is they boil it and then crack the top of the egg open, and then you drink it down like an oyster. The fermented embryo already has the beak, the talons beginning to grow, and this was done on a challenge amongst all of us baseball players on our high school team. And a few of us got through it. Some of them couldn't do it. Others just chickened out and walked away. Pardon the pun of chicken.
Did you do it?
Needless to say, I did it. I was a team captain. I had to do it. I could not have walked away from that.
Was there texture to the chicken?
Yes. I don't know if you've ever felt a chicken before you cook it. It's got like the little pimples on it.
Yeah.
You could already feel that texture to it. Feathers were starting to grow in. It was horrible. Remember I told you that I could taste the Red Man for about 2 weeks?
Right.
I could taste the balut for months.
Oh, jeez.
Nothing could get that flavor out of my mouth. It was horrible. Now, the Filipinos swear by it. The older generation of Filipinos swore by it. The younger generation of Filipinos are like, this needs to be outlawed immediately.
Oh.
But it was one of those things that we did as a challenge to one another, and we strongly recommended that any subsequent baseball teams at our school never take that challenge ever again.
Did they continue it or did they stop it?
At least when I went back to visit the next year, the baseball team said that they did not do this anymore. So, and that was probably very good that they didn't continue that.
Dragon Ball, how do you like them apples?
I don't like those apples.
That is outstanding. That is outstanding. David, thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
You bet, Rich.
The look of disgust on Dragon Ball's face right now is worth watching our stream. Are you okay, Dragon Ball?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Are you sure?
Not right now, but I'll be fine eventually.
All right, I got one for you. You know the Nasty Boys?
Yes.
Brian Knobs, Jerry Sags?
Yes.
They told me about this when they went to go wrestle over in Japan. I think it was Japan.
Okay.
They went and wrestled over in Asia. They had to drink cobra blood.
I don't get this with the animal blood thing.
They had a cobra, bang, lop its head off, and then they'd stand there holding the tail and milk it, all the blood into a cup, and you had to drink it or it was an insult to your host.
I guess I'm insulting my host. I don't understand that.
Listen, I'm sorry. If I send you around the world, you're not going to be allowed to eat chicken nuggets in every country you go to.
I understand that, but this is getting to a point with the drinking of the blood, because not like, again, going back to our original, what brought this on was, again, the Paul brothers decided to go and talk to this guy who apparently swears by eating raw meat, which already makes me not want to ever do it ever, because that's asking for potential illness. He also mentions about drinking blood as well.
Come on.
I don't understand.
All right, so what's the grossest thing anybody's ever had to eat or heard of? 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. You look like you're green.
I mean, I don't
get
it.
You look green.
I don't get it.
Were you looking down your nose at other cultures?
No, I'm not looking down my nose at other cultures. It's just there are certain things that I feel that certainly certain cultures will swear by them. I mean, like the last caller said, like David said, it was something that the old Filipinos that were there when he was still going to school there swore by, this balut. And every younger generation is like, yeah, no, we need to not do this anymore. It's like you get to a point where maybe we don't need to do this anymore because we don't have to.
Come on, I double dog dare you to eat a pig's knuckle.
No.
Pig's feet.
No, I refuse.
Pickled pig's feet.
Anything that has
you go into certain stores and towns and they have the barrel of pig's feet.
Anything that has a hoof, I will eat. I will not eat the hoof of the thing that has the hoof.
I should take you to San Francisco to one of those really, really fresh Chinese restaurants that are next to a wet market where they boom right there, and it's about as fresh as it could be.
I'd rather have that step of the cooking process far removed from me. I don't like the idea of looking at the animal I want to have in my stomach looking at me before the action actually takes place.
Where do you think it comes from?
I understand this, but it's more so about I don't want the animal to look me in the eye as it's like, okay, you have been chosen for the chicken tendies of today's lunch.
What about lobster? Have you ever had lobster where you got to pick them out of the tank?
No, I never pick the lobster out of the tank. I just say, give me a lobster. Do you want to pick it? No, just you choose which lobster it is.
I don't want to get to know it on a first name basis.
No, I don't want to even get to know it on a last name basis, let alone a species basis. Like, I don't want to know the Latin name of a lobster before I ask to pick it up. That's how far and detached I wish to be from the food that I wish to eat.
You know, the hamburger doesn't come just from nature wrapped in cellophane.
I understand this, but I don't want to know that the cow's name was Bessie before I eat it.
Clarence. I raised a cow. I hated that thing. I used to feed it like, I can't wait till your hamburger.
Well, you hate fed a cow?
Oh, because she would wake up at like 4:30 in the morning mooing, and my mom and dad would yell at me, go feed your cow.
Yeah, because that cow loved you.
I hated that cow. Cows are mean.
I'm sure it wasn't that mean.
If it's waking me up at 4:30 in the morning, I gotta put on my little boots and my little
it's an animal. It doesn't know what the clock is.
Sun wasn't even up.
Yeah, it doesn't know what the clock is. It's an animal.
All right. Anyway, coming up, Suns tonight get a chance to close it out. Can they? Will they? Should they? We'll talk about that. NFL schedule is going to be released in just a matter of moments. We have all of that coming up. I'm Rich Ferreira. That's Dragon Ball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. We continue with you here on Wildcats Radio 1290. I'm Rich Herrera. Dragon Ball, bump, bump, bum. The National Football League has released their schedules. The most anticipated program of the year. The National Football League now will tell us where they're going to play. It's funny. The NFL can take anything and hype it up and make it into the most over-the-top. I'm sorry, I'm too close to the microphone. They can make anything over the top and make it into the most amazing story that I would stop time for. This used to be just, hey, we're putting out the schedule, here we go. Now it's actually a live televised event. You realize that they actually were offering special radio coverage of the releasing of the National Football League trophy for tonight.
The trophy or the schedule?
Or schedule.
Right. I mean, no, this is a big deal for a lot of people because this is where people are going to start building their vacation schedules around it.
Okay. The schedules come out. I think the early one that everybody's going to jump at is Russell Wilson.
Yep,
goes back to Seattle week 1 to take on his former team, the Seahawks.
Which is, that's interesting for that to be the Monday night opener.
NFL does everything they can to flex the best games with the best storylines into prime time. They're going to make a big run in making Monday Night Football important again.
Oh, yeah.
Because Monday Night Football has become kind of a yawner.
It was the absolute highlight of the week more often than not in the NFL. Now you've kind of almost gotten to a point where Monday Night Football is almost missable. Like you don't need to watch the Monday night matchup.
Where Sunday Night Football is the must-see TV.
It's the must-see, yeah.
And then Thursday Night Football, which will be available only on Amazon and WildcatsRadio1290.com because we're your home of the NFL. You'll be able to hear that here. But for the rest, Monday Night Football's become just kind of an afterthought because there's so much football. Because you got a game on Thursday. You got a game on doubleheader on Sunday, so that's 3. Then you got Sunday Night Football. No, I'm sorry. Thursday's 1 to begin the week, right? 2 on Sunday, doubleheader, then the Sunday Night Football game, which is 4, and then 5 is Monday Night Football. By the time you get to Monday Night Football, you're kind of footballed out.
More often than not, because, you've got the one game that's, again, Thursday Night Football is still a weird thing for me. It's been years now since it's been implemented. I still think Thursday is not a day for football. I just don't like how it's just stuck in the middle of the week out of nowhere.
But people watch it. People can't get enough of it. So here's the early takes on some of the big games that'll happen in the National Football League coming up on the schedule that's just released. The Rams and the Buffalo Bills will be the season opener. So you have Matthew Stafford versus Josh Allen for the very first game of the season. That's on September 8th. What else are you going to have? Monday Night Football, Russell Wilson will go in the Denver Broncos, will go against his old team, the Seattle Seahawks, up north in Seattle. So that'll be an interesting matchup where Russ Wilson comes back to the team that he wanted to leave. You've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady taking on the Dallas Cowboys for your first. Let's see, that's the Sunday game?
That's the Sunday night game, yeah.
of the first week. And you got the Chargers and the Raiders for that second Thursday game because they always have that double Thursday game to kick off the season. Let's see, what else do we have for interesting matchups? Do you see anything else in there that really jumps at you, Dragon Ball?
In week 1, not too much. Again, this is the only thing that would be interesting to see. Again, I want to see what Matt Ryan looks like over in Indianapolis as he takes on the Texans, and definitely going to be interesting to see what the Texans look like now after everything that happened to them in the offseason. Overall, there's not a lot of marquee matchups, I would say, in week 1, outside of maybe you get to see what the new Kansas City Chiefs offense is going to look like now without Tyreek Hill coming to Arizona to take on a team that could potentially have a very upset quarterback in Kyler Murray.
So my big question is, and we're going to do this tonight on the network, where's Baker Mayfield going to be week 1?
All signs point to him still being in Cleveland. I honestly...
And he won't be in the stadium. Who do the Cleveland Browns open up with week 1? Do you have that right there?
For the Cleveland Browns, they're going to be going out on the road to Carolina, which for the most part has been the team that could be Baker Mayfield's target designation.
Baker Mayfield. In fact, they probably put that together. But please, Cleveland Browns, trade Baker to Carolina so we have another big marquee matchup of games.
I guarantee you, at the very least, that's going to be an interesting setup in the press box area where both front offices, like the GMs for both teams, are going to be sitting next to each other in opposite suites to see if Cleveland keeps knocking on the doors like, will you please?
Hey, do you need a quarter? Sam Darnold, come on. I got Baker Mayfield over here.
We can give him to you.
Dude, have you seen his TV commercials? They're really cool. Baker Mayfield right now. Or
we'll take a fifth round pick.
Or they could stand out in front with a Carney Barker. Hey, welcome to Carolina. Hello, Carolina. Get your Baker Mayfield starting quarterback. Hey, who in Carolina needs a starting quarterback? Hey, Carolina Panther fans. Baker Mayfield, who needs a starting quarterback? Who could use Baker Mayfield? Number 1 draft pick of the Cleveland Browns from just a few years ago, all healed up. Torn Labram's back. He's ready to go. Who needs a quarterback, Carolina?
Not to mention, Carolina's quarterback room is insanely packed. I mean, they've got 4 quarterbacks in that room right now.
Because they have a lot of quality. They have a lot of quantity, excuse me.
Yes.
They have a lot of quantity. How much quality do they have?
Not a lot.
Well, okay, is he an upgrade over Sam Darnold?
I would argue they are darn near the exact same level of competent at the quarterback position by my standard, which, again, maybe I'm not the person to ask this question.
Yeah, you're not a player personnel director,
no,
but
I'm not.
I play one on the radio.
I'm not, but just based on the fact of the matter is that, look, as much as I don't want to give him credit as a fan of a team that's in the same division as him, Baker was injured for quite a while of the season. He played through it, tried to be the tough quarterback. It didn't work out. He ended up making himself a little bit of a mess, and it probably hurt himself in the free agent or trade market, depending on what you want to put him in.
For Baker?
For Baker.
I think Baker got, and we're going to have, I'm going to have Chico After Dark from 92.3 The Fan on with me tonight. I think Baker Mayfield got completely sabotaged by Odell Beckham Sr.
Oh, his dad, absolutely.
To the point that he damaged him. In fact, if I'm Baker Mayfield, I'm mad at the Beckham family for throwing me under the bus and then backing the bus up and peeling out on my dead corpse. Think about this. Torn labrum on his non-throwing arm, and it's going to affect your throws. It's got to affect you to have a torn labrum.
I mean, you still got to follow through with the throw.
Okay. Your teammate's dad puts out a video, and then, of course, every idiot talk show host, blogger in America gets a hold of that cut-up of their games to throw them under the bus, and then Odell Beckham just lets him twist in the wind and then demands a trade to get out of there, because how do you go to work next to Baker Mayfield when your dad just did that and then you were quiet? You were quiet and don't say anything, and then you tear the team apart because Odell Beckham Jr. had ingratiated himself to people on the team after he got himself run out of New York.
Yep.
He ingratiated himself with the team, and then everybody's, Odell Beckham Jr., good guy. Throws my quarterback under the bus, poisons the well, salts the earth, and then he bails to go to the Rams, wins a Super Bowl, and Baker Mayfield standing there left holding the bag, and then the team goes, you know what, we're just going to move on. Maybe you're not the guy. Talk about someone who just had his entire career sabotaged. Savagely.
Not to mention that the guy that the Browns bring in, they're not even sure he's going to be able to play at the start of the season because we're not sure what the league is going to do about Deshaun Watson.
If you want to hear more of this conversation, you can join me tonight at 11 o'clock on CBS Sports Radio. So we're going to talk about the schedules, and then we're going to get into Baker Mayfield a little bit later in the program. Now, by the way, tomorrow on the show, I'll just give you a little bit of a tease. We've got a couple really, really big interviews. One of them is Alan Shipnuck, the author of the unauthorized biography of Phil Mickelson that has caused ripples throughout sports. It caused Phil to pull out of the Masters. Phil was on record saying that he would go play in this new league, that this new tour that Saudi Arabian Prince is trying to start, and had some rather, I don't even know how to, I'll let Alan describe the comments that he made that are in the book. And then now in the book, it reveals that he has $40 million in gambling debts. I think it was $40 million, right?
Yes, $40
million in gambling debts that he has accrued. So the book's coming out. There's a couple book signings. He's going to go on a book tour, but we're going to get a chance to talk to him before anybody else. So he'll join us tomorrow here on the program. So that's an exclusive that you're only going to get right here on 1290. And again, full disclosure, he's married to my cousin. I've known Alan since he was a young man, since he was a senior in high school, and he's had some pretty amazing books. He's the guy, Dragon Ball, that helped make the term "winner, winner, chicken dinner" popular in American lexicon. You've heard that term before, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That actually came from his book, Blood, Sweat, and Tease, about Steve Duplantis, a caddy, and he went behind the scenes with the caddies. And if your guy wins on tour, because caddies get no benefits that the golfers do. If you're a pro golfer, you get a courtesy car. They take care of you in the locker room. They take care of your travel. They take care of your accommodations. If you're a caddy, you're just basically a hired help for the weekend.
Right.
And and a lot of times the caddies, in the book, he describes it, you'll go 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in a room. Guys sleeping on the floor just to save expenses, because if your guy doesn't win, you don't get anything. And if your guy wins, then the very next tour stop, which, by the way, some of the top guys will bring their caddy on their private jets. The rest are responsible to get to the next tour event on their own. So they'll jump in 5, 6 guys in a car. And the term comes from winner, winner, chicken dinner, meaning if my guy wins, everybody that I travel with, I'm buying dinner at the next tour stop because I actually made some money and we can go out and have a decent meal. So like there's a spread in the clubhouse for the tour players. The caddies don't even get hot dogs after they get done.
Jeez.
They're not entitled to anything that the pro golfers get. So Alan wrote a book years ago called Blood, Sweat, and Tease, and it talks about Steve Duplantis and his life as a tour caddy. Really fascinating behind the scenes.
Now, with the caddies all driving 5 people to a car and everything like that, are they also not responsible for the clubs?
No, the golfer brings,
okay,
he does all that. You're responsible for, and I'll double check with Alan tomorrow, but you're responsible for getting yourself there, and then they give you the bag, and then you do the loop.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah,
I played with a caddy once in a Pro-Am. I was very uncomfortable having him carry my clubs. I felt very elitist.
Not only that, it's just you don't ever want to see somebody make a tumble and then they break your clubs.
No, these are professional caddies.
Right.
And then I didn't know how much to tip him, so I ended up tipping him like $150, which I found out was what I was supposed to tip him for the loop for a Pro-Am. But I was nervous, like, what if I tip him too much? My wife's going to yell at me. What if I don't tip him enough? He's going to think I'm cheap.
Yep.
Actually, I played, Ron Darling?
Yes.
I played golf with Ron Darling once, and we were playing in a celebrity tournament. We were riding in carts because it's a scramble.
Right.
RD actually brought his own caddy with him, even though we were riding in carts. That's when you're a serious golfer.
Ooh, boy.
That's when you're a serious golfer.
That's absurd.
It was awesome. All right, coming up, we'll give you the big story of the day, and then our conversation with Chip Hale coming up here as well. We'll broadcast live tomorrow from High Corbett Field. Program today brought to you by Trajan Wealth, 321-4100, 321-4100, or go to TrajanWealth.com, TRAJAN Wealth.com. Let's see. What if you were on tour and you won one of those really big checks? What would you do with it? How would you protect that really big check? Let's say you won like Happy Gilmore and they give you the big check and you go, you cash it, put it in the bank. What are you going to do with that money? How are you going to protect it? How are you going to grow it? You can try yourself, but that's kind of a fool's errand with everything going on in the economy right now, with interest rates, with the supply chain, with everything breaking down, the high cost of everything. I'd have no idea how to handle my money. That's why you need a partner. You need a professional that's going to work with you to reach your goals. And that's what they do at Trajan Wealth. They're fiduciaries. They are paid and incentivized to grow your portfolio. Our advisory fee is an annual percentage set up front with the client. And Trajan Wealth lives by the motto, the more you make, the more we make. It's not safe to assume that all investment professionals are the same. Most brokers are paid upfront commission to sell you a product, and unfortunately, it might not be what you want to do or what's in your best interest. They're a full-service, privately owned firm with a A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Most importantly, they're your neighbors. They're right here in Tucson. You're not calling some 800 number for someone in Pigs Knuckle, Arkansas, and the next time you call, the guy's gone and there's somebody else to handle. No, you have someone who's assigned. He's your point person, she's your point person, and they're there to help work with you to achieve your goals. Call them today, 321-4100, 321-4100, or go to TrajanWealth.com, TRAJAN Wealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Coming up next, we'll give you the big story of the day. That's coming up on 1290. All right. Coming up, we'll have a conversation with Chip Hale here on Wildcats Radio 1290. I'm Rich Herrera, Dragon Ball. Don't forget, we're on the road tomorrow. Where are we, Dragon Ball?
We are out at High Corbett.
High Corbett Field. We'll be out there broadcasting live before Arizona takes on Oregon State. I'll be back with you tonight and tomorrow, 11 o'clock tonight, here on 1290 on CBS Sports Radio. Tomorrow, I'm excited for the interview tomorrow with Alan Shipnuck.
Right. This is going to be interesting because the stuff with Phil Mickelson is very, very... It's intriguing, but it's disturbing because, I mean...
How so?
I mean, you don't just accrue $40 million in debt with gambling just
Depends
on a whim. Like, it's got to be a serious problem.
Okay, so... Well, it depends. As Charles Barkley says, it's only a serious problem if you can't afford it. So if you make that kind of money and your lifestyle is a little bit different than you and I, it's kind of like I interviewed Lee Steinberg once and he explained this to me. This is when I was working in Miami, and he said, for you and me, Dragon Ball, if we make an extra, if we're negotiating, right, and we made $1 million, how would that change your life? It would be life-changing, right?
Yeah, that would be substantial.
Okay. What about if you and I were making $50 million and you got an extra $1 million? How much would that change your life? Not really. Right? If you're making $50 million in your contract and I get you $53 million, are you getting a bigger house?
Not really.
Are you getting new cars?
No.
Because it's just that scale of where you live. So for us, we're like $50 million or $40 million in gambling debt. Well, it depends on the scale of what you make. So if you, like Charles Barkley said, it's not a problem if I can afford it. You and I, $40 million. Like, whoa. Well, what if I make $500 million? Is that a lot?
If you make $500 million, I'd be more interested in what you're doing to make $500 million.
There's a van that I drove back from Mexico. I don't know. But if you're making that kind of jack, can you afford to have those kind of hobbies?
Right.
For Elon Musk, look, what did I read? If Tiger Woods was walking down the street and he went to go pick up a $100 bill, he would actually lose money.
Yeah, it cost him more to pick up that
the
dollar
$100 bill than leave it there. You and I see a $100 bill, we're going to fight for it.
Yep.
We're going to get into a fist fight over it. It's the scale of the economy of what we're living in. So again, $1 million. What's Dragon Ball going to go do? He's going to stuff it into his mattress.
Yep. That money ain't going nowhere.
Rich gets $1 million. Viva Las Vegas, baby.
I wish you the best of luck.
And when I double my money, I will laugh at you in your little mattress full of dollar bills.
If all you did was double it, I'd be more disappointed in you.
What, if I double my money in Vegas?
If you only doubled the money.
Chances are that I'd leave it all there. They don't make those huge palaces out of nothing.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's why I always love the dealers when they go, those these casinos aren't just made out of rainbows and dreams. It's people leaving their hard-earned money here that were able to build these things.
That's real bad. That's real bad.
And that's why I'm there, because you know what it's for? It's for the kids.
It's for the kids.
For the kids. Okay, big stories. NFL schedule just came out. Russell Wilson will visit the Seattle Seahawks in Week 1. The defending Super Bowl champion Rams will take on the Buffalo Bills. Is that a big deal?
It's a preview of a potential matchup in the Super Bowl
Why not
this
go with
year.
Joe Burrows in a rematch of the Super Bowl?
Because I don't think the AFC North plays.
They play each other. Okay.
I don't think they play those divisions this year.
Why not put the Rams and the 49ers together? Week 1.
They typically don't like doing division matchups in Week 1.
Who knows? Whoever they put that together. Anyway, the NFL schedule's out. I'll have more on that coming up tonight at 11. We'll talk tomorrow about this as well. I can't talk about it. Warriors got thumped last night.
They were whooped like that. What is it now?
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
Whoop that trick.
You're so bad. Suns can close out the Mavs tonight and advance to the Western Conference Finals, where they will get a chance to compete for the Oscar Robertson Trophy, and maybe DeAndre Ayton or Devin Booker can compete for the Magic Johnson Trophy.
Yep.
Which is the new name of the. Now we have a Western Conference MVP that we'll give out. Did they have one before? Or they didn't really have a trophy for it like this.
I think it was referenced. I don't know if there was a trophy specifically
now it's
to
a big deal. And then you'll get the trophy for the West is named after Oscar Robertson. In the East, it's named after Bob Cousy.
Yeah.
How come they picked Oscar Robinson for the West?
I feel like it has to go all the way back to
why not the Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trophy?
It might have also been like licensing issues or something like that. Because again, you still got to license out the name.
They got 2 Celtics. Why not 2 Lakers?
Well, because again, probably. Well, no, because the Lakers are more so well known through L.A. rather than Minneapolis. So, who knows?
What else is going on tonight? And we'll be on the road tomorrow at High Corbett for baseball. Number 1 team in the nation, Oregon State, comes in to take on the Cats. So those are the big stories. All right, Dragon Ball is going to update you what's going on with the Heat Sixers game, and then a conversation with Chip Hale next here on 1290.
This is David Amata, and here's what's trending on 1290 here at 5:35. Arizona softball goes ahead, and they have their first game against Stanford for their final regular season series at home, as the Wildcats were able to survive a bases-loaded scare at the top of the second inning. The Wildcats still hold a 2-1 lead thanks to Charlize Palacios' home run in the first. And the Phoenix Suns will tip off against the Dallas Mavericks at American Airlines Center with the chance to go ahead and punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals, as the Mavericks hope to stave off elimination and force a Game 7. That game tips off in an hour. And the Philadelphia Phillies star outfielder Bryce Harper will be relegated to designated hitter, as the team now announces that he has a small tear in his UCL, which will keep him from throwing for the next 4 weeks. Looking at the NBA playoffs, the Miami Heat still